Hello and welcome to the Pickle Jar. My name is Josh and in today's video we'll be talking about my experiences this year for Armies on Parade. Hi guys, welcome to the video. So just before we get started, I just want to say that if you're not already subscribed to the Pickle Jar, then be sure to hit the button down below so you can keep up to date with all the videos that we'll be releasing in the future. This year was a big year for me as it was my first ever time entering Armies on Parade in my local Warhammer store. I wasn't really sure what to expect and it was a bit of I'd planned to enter a while back, but then never actually did anything. So it was a bit last minute getting everything organised. So this year was just sort of dipping my toe in the water and having a go and just being involved in the event in general. And I managed to walk away with the best newcomer certificate for the 40k entries, which I am thrilled with, if I'm honest. I didn't even know that was a category. And that brings me on to the real topic of this video, and that is sort of my thoughts on the event, my thoughts on how this year went, and what you can do for future Armies on Parade and how you can prepare and plan and what to do to get yourself where you need to be. So, number one, do your research. Look at the categories. Look at what your board is going to be entered under. I was under the impression that it was just one thing. It was Armies on Parade, and that was it. And it was best wins, or most votes wins. Apparently, there are a lot of subcategories as well. So there are best scenic board, best scenic display, themed boards, best painted, best newcomer, first off, all these sorts of little subcategories that they do certificates for. They do those for 40k and for Age of Sigmar. So yeah, do your research. Look at the subcategories that they're going to be entering into. Work out what you want to aim for. I mean, you can always put yourself down for everything, but if you want to sort of go for one specific thing, then you know to focus on that. Look at previous year's entries in your store and everywhere else. You know, just a quick Google search will bring up plenty of boards from previous years. So look at what other people have done and take inspiration from that, and you can really start to then sort of plan out, which brings us on to our second point. Number 2, planning. Now, this is a really, really important part of the process. Before you start working on anything, plan out what you're wanting to do. You need to decide what it is you're going to be displaying, what army, what system. You need to work out how they're going to be displayed. You need to work out what board they're going to go on. This year, I went with my Salamanders because that's the most recent 40k army that I've been working on. So I decided to go with a bit of a lava theme board. Because I've left it until last minute and had to sort of rush around, it didn't look as good as it could do. But I'd got a plan in mind. I knew I wanted to have a hill on the back corner. I wanted to make the lava really bright on there. I wanted some lava on the hill. And then I was just going to arrange the miniatures that I'd got on there so that they were filling out the space as nicely as possible. Some of the other entries from my store this year had put a bit more thought into that. I say a bit more, a lot more thought into that, and had made some absolutely breathtaking displays. And my mind boggles at being able to sort of plan that scale of display out and execute it in such a brilliant way. So step 2, make sure you've got a plan. Stick to that plan. Think of everything you can before you start chopping up bits of foam and painting things. Make sure you've got everything planned out so you know exactly what you need to do. And then that should hopefully tie in nicely to point number 3, which is number 3, start early. Now, don't do what I did this year where you think, oh, it's fine. The board won't take long to do, and this won't take long to do, and that won't take long to do, and then leave it until the week before, which is what I did this year. I planned months ago that I wanted to do Armies on Parade this year. This year was going to be my first go, and I want to make a real good go of it. And then went, yep, no problem, it'll not take long. Left it until the week before, and then sort of went, better do something then. Make sure you start early. Give yourself twice as much time as you think it's going to take. Get started, because the earlier you start, the more time you give yourself the more time you've got to correct things if they go wrong or to add extra bits on. If you get everything done and you've still got loads of time left, then you can add extra bits on where you think you need it. Whereas got to the point with me where I sort of went, well, that'll have to do because I ain't got time to do this, and I suppose that'll have to do because I've not got time to do that. Don't do that. If you're serious about wanting to enter and wanting to go for one of the medals and you know, to be the big winner of the day, you really need to start early. So that's my third part of advice. Next year, I will be starting a hell of a lot early. In fact, I've already started planning what I want to do for next year. And that's a year away, obviously. The next part of advice will sort of contradict everything that I've said so far, but I think it's important to say it. Number 4, don't overthink everything. At the end of the day, the board is just a frame to help display your army. It is armies on parade. It's not dire armies on parade. A lot of people do tend to enter giant dioramas and they do look amazing. But to me, armies on parade is more about showing off the army that you're working on, that you're going to take and you're going to play games of 40k in Age of Sigmar or Blood Bowl or whatever it is that you're entering. And I think that the board, yes, should look nice and it should help to show off your army, but it doesn't want to distract away from your army. And sometimes it's easy to get caught up in making this absolutely fantastic looking board. It's about the overall display, and your board is just one part of that. Your army is what everyone should be looking at and what you wanting to sort of push forward. And finally, the last point that I need to point out, number 5, have fun. At the end of the day, Armies on Parade is just a massive event that's everywhere, and it's all about getting your local groups together, hanging out, looking at each other's work, talking to people, and just enjoying the hobby for what it is, in a fantastic social tool, introducing you to new people, and just so much fun. So this Saturday I went into store with the intention of setting my board up, having a bit of a chat, and then doing some painting, which is what I like to do when I go into store. I usually take something to paint and I have a bit of a chat and get some work done. This Saturday, what I actually did was get into store, set my board up, and then sat down for about 5 minutes. And the rest of the time that I was there, I was walking around looking at everyone else's work. I was chatting to all the other people that had entered. I was chatting to people that had not entered. So just have fun. At the end of the day, it's just a massive celebration of everyone's work. And yes, there are winners, and yes, there are people that get certificates. But at the end of the day, this is going to sound really cheesy, but it is the taking part that counts. If you've had fun working on the project and you've had fun on the day chatting to other people that have entered, then that's the main thing. Those are my 5 tips. Now, the work, as you've seen through this video, that the other guys have put in my local store alone is absolutely insane. Some of the talent on show is just beyond belief. And I'm sure that the same will be said for every store, everywhere that anyone's entered. The level of expertise and talent and time that goes into these things is brilliant, and I think that needs to be celebrated. And Armies on Parade is a fantastic event, and I'm just glad that the event exists, because then it gives people a chance to sort of let off this creative onslaught of fantastic boards and armies. And yeah, it was an absolutely fantastic day. So that's this year. Came away with best newcomer for 40k. Admittedly, left it last minute. Need to put more work into the board, but not too much. I need to put more work into my minis, make sure that they are looking as nice as possible. And who knows, maybe I'll come away with something else next year. We'll have to wait and see. Last week, I introduced a new segment that I'm putting into the videos, which is the Community Spotlight. This week, I'm showing you this Salamander Champion, which was painted by Instagram user Sharkmander Minis. Now, I absolutely adore this model. I think that the flames on the axe are superb. I really like the weathering and the dirtied up armour on the model. I think it looks absolutely brilliant, and his Instagram is also full of some absolutely brilliant paintings. So go over to his Instagram and check him out. So that was Sharkmander Minis. If you'd like to see some of your own miniatures here on the Community Spotlight segment of the videos, then be sure to email an image down to the email that's in the description below, and Everything that I get will get used at some point. If you want to get in touch with us, you can leave a comment down below, or you can get in touch with us on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. If you're new to the Pickle Jar, then don't forget to subscribe so you can keep up to date with all the content that we're releasing in the future. That's all from me, and I'll see you next week with another video.